Hey guys, welcome to Golden Aesthetics. This is Artemus Dolgin. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. It's another beautiful day in Hollywood Hills, and it's a very unexpected interview, a podcast for Samir Bannout. I caught him off guard, but he agreed to do it. It's a huge honor. It's a big pleasure to have you, Samir, and I really
Thank you.
appreciate your cooperation with us.
Thank you,
I really do.
Artemis. It's great.
You're Mr.
My
Olympia.
pleasure.
You're the very first Mr. Olympia that I ever shook a hand to. Yeah,
Hey, man,
you were the very first one.
I am honored, and once I met you and I find out more about you, inside out, the view, your vision, honestly, I'm proud of you. I'm very much
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
on the same page with you is what you like, because this is a sport of art, and this is exactly what you are, and I'm very proud of you.
I appreciate
And
it.
happy to be with
this
you.
word comes up a little bit more often now, art and bodybuilding, because I feel like people are getting tired of the scene, And I'm not necessarily against of what's going on. Some people, find something in it and they enjoy it, and I can't really judge that. They can do whatever they want. But there is also another, segment of people, another kind of people that love art about bodybuilding, and those are the people that are watching us right now, and they're gonna find out firsthand from you what it is artistic bodybuilding.
I hope the larger segment or the larger
It's growing.
portion of people
It's
like
growing.
our style, because really our style is, this is an art form. It's a performing art, and you're in it to make the body look beautiful. You want to have a beautiful, strong, but beautiful body. You're doing it for people to like their look. So, I don't know. The way I put it, you don't need to be in 25,000 square feet home to make it so beautiful. You could be in a 10,000 square feet
Absolutely.
home and be like unbelievable.
Absolutely.
So it's not about the size of things. It's not about the size of the dog. It's the bite of the dog. And so,
Write that down.
it's a beauty. It's a beauty, and that's I always appreciated. I mean, ever since I opened up the first magazine, was Arnold and Zane and Sergio. They were big, but they kept it pretty.
Very.
Yeah, right now, the guys are sidetracking, so size is taking over their mind. And really, the only problem I have with that, Artemis, is you can build size, and we like to be big, but we want to stay wasted. We want to keep it beautiful.
Symmetry.
Once the midsection start to get bulked up and filled up, where's the beauty? It's midsection blockness.
You know what? I was talking about this yesterday. There are some, big names in bodybuilding, great arms, great chest, great legs, but stomach is bloated, and it kills everything. It kills
100%.
all your hard work that goes towards your arms, your back. All you think about and all you look at is the stomach area. You can't just take your eyes away from that. You just look at the blocky stomach, and a lot of guys they can have pretty tight waists, but their abs are split apart, very far away, and that completely kills all the look of a bodybuilder. It feels like, oh man, that's ugly.
I'm 100% with you. It's really shameful. It's shameful. And I'll tell you what, this has come about accidentally, I think. I don't think any bodybuilder out there really would like to have a big belly.
Absolutely.
And so they miscalculated and something. I'm not being here. We're talking real. And I don't really care. I'm just going to say it as it is,
Absolutely. That's reality. And as I said, I don't want this podcast to be staged to fit into someone's expectation. I want it to be real. I don't give a fuck if it does, go against the politics that's an IFBB or an NPC or any other federation. I really don't care. I think people should know what's really going on and what they're getting into. Because a lot of people ruin their lives by giving it 100%, going to the show, ending I'm broke, and making their ends meet. I think this sport is a wonderful sport, but it's built in the wrong way. There is no money in it. People retire, they have no pension, they have nothing to retire with, and they end up really actually making their ends meet. There are some smart individuals that are business-minded bodybuilders that, like Jay Cutler is one of the guys.
Oh, yeah.
That did it smart way.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Not
want
me.
this, as I said, I want this to be real, and I want you to keep 100% real. I'll give you your opinion on what you went through personally in your life and during the golden era of bodybuilding, because you're one of the most prominent representatives of that
Thank
time.
you. Thank you.
How your competition were, how just the goals back in the day, where how you guys were treating each other. That's what we would love to know.
Uh, I've been in it since day one, and I'm in love with the sport. And I'm not gonna deny that I think I'm more than passion. I have more than passion. I'm obsessed. I love my game. And the iron game, weight training is the key for all sport. But then again, when you train and you want to better yourself, we're doing it to look better, to look good. Obviously we have to get down to the real business here and inform people that this is not what bodybuilding is all about. It's about if you go in the wrong place, okay, let's recalculate and find exactly where we're going. Exactly like what happened to me. GPS took me to the wrong place. I corrected it. We need to correct people and say, listen, doesn't look right. If your arm is 24 and your waist is 45, it don't mean shit, really. So the new kids have to change their way, whether it's in nutritional part or anything that they do, even in the dark side. They have to really find out where is the
What do you
problem.
think people are doing wrong now? Because if you look at the bodies, of your era, and you look at the people today who even try to look classic, they're still not there.
Because the race for mass, I'm bigger. Well, it's coming with a major damaging part here, because, we store glycogen in our muscle to have fullness to the muscle. But I mean, listen, you don't really have to go crazy berserk trying to overfill up your muscle. So there is an issue here. I think the drugs, and let's be honest here, insulin has no place in bodybuilding. I know it works, it'll get you fuller and it gets you bigger, but it ruined the main goal, which was we want to look elegant and the best, to have the greatest physique
Elegant,
on earth.
absolutely.
You can't look elegant trying to shoot insulin for every meal of high carbs and trying to, increase the mass and your reserve and fullness of the muscle. And so, so it is an issue, abuse. It's really drug abuse. We're not going to say, drugs is a drugs. No, this is against what bodybuilding is all about. It's actually make you ugly. Stay away from this drugs. You don't need to have insulin in your regimen. You don't need insulin, and so if these guys stay away from these practices, I think we'll go back to normal again.
Samir, do you think, you are at the gyms obviously all the time. Do you see bodybuilders, do you see the difference between the training of now and back then, and then the approach to training?
I think back in the days we used to do sometime the body part twice or 3 times a week. As of Arnold, back from John Grimmick and Clancy Ross and all these great back in the days, they always trained body part minimum 2 to 3 times a week. Well, maybe that's excessive. We know the muscle probably recover faster, and you really don't need to train more than once or twice maximum, no more than twice a week, because it takes time for the muscle to have full recovery. So now they're doing one body part, once a week, which is, I think that's not the issue here. It's trying to get extremely big too fast by using the chemical warfare or whatever, and using stuff to enhance to speed up the process. It's really run them to the wall. So back in the days, we trained longer and harder. Nowadays, they just go short workout and they rely mostly on.
You know why? You're right. There is no patience. Everybody wants to get it quick. Wants to get it quick and wants to get famous right away. Of just looking big. I totally agree with you. I actually fell as a victim of this too. Because when you get into competitive bodybuilding, it's a different ball game. It's you really want to advance, and you want to advance fast. That's why you don't have that patience, and that's why people need the guidance in that, because they ruin their bodies with it, and they understand that they ruin their health. When you're younger, you don't really feel the side effects as much.
I agree with you completely, and I was having this conversation one time with Mike and Ray Menser, rest in peace, and even with Tom Platz, and we, back in the day, we discussed how much can you gain in 1 year. And we came out to the conclusion that gain in 10 years is a huge gain a year of pure muscle. So now you see guys gaining like 30, 40 pounds in a few months, which is, you know, it's unnatural. I mean, I remember this. One
doesn't
time,
look hard either. It looks puffy.
they look really puffy. Listen to this. Tom Platz went from 1980 to 1981. I know Tom has gained 17 pounds of muscle. And that's a record. He really went from, I think, from under 190 to about 212 or somewhere around that. He gained 17 pounds. And that's like really incredible. And Tom has changed considerably. I mean, he made a huge, from Australia to 1981 Olympia, which he could have won. It was actually between Tom and Danny Padilla. Either one.
Absolutely, yeah, of course.
And so, yeah, I mean, what do you want more than that? 10, 15 pounds of muscle a year. That's a huge gain.
But it's a hard muscle.
Yeah, they want to get it so quick. They want it now. They want it now. And so,
Yeah.
you know, it's just not going to happen naturally to gain more than 10 to 15 pounds of muscle.
Samir, now back to you. When did you start training? And how did you get on bodybuilding? How did you end up in Gold's Gym? And how did you end up winning Olympia?
I came through the best era of bodybuilding, really. I was going to watch a movie back in the days at home. As you know, I was born in Lebanon. And I was going to watch this movie, The Good and the Bad, the Ugly, you know, Clint Eastwood movie. And right before the movie started, we were like hanging out. There's a newsstand, and I was looking, and I saw pictures of Arnold on the cover doing this pose with two girls on it. And, you know, it turned my attention. It was like nice. You know, even Arnold wasn't ripped, but he still looked great.
How old are you with it?
I was around 16.
Okay.
And, you know, believe it or not, I didn't barely have the money to pay for the movie. It was my little brother. I bought the magazine. It was Muscle Builder. It's American magazine. It was coming regular, you know, on a regular basis to Lebanon. And so I bought the magazine, and believe it or not, that was it. I was stunned, and I liked the way they looked. I flipped through the magazine. You see pictures of Frank Zane, Dave Draper, and all the greats. And so that's it. I was sold.
Mr. Olympia was born right
This
there.
is it. And I'm glad I came in this era, you know, Artemus. It's amazing era. And, you know, I developed this passion where I went and backed all the past issue. I went to the warehouse where I get all the magazine from the past few years. So I want to get down and know about the history of bodybuilding. And
How did you start training? Did you just sign up for the gym? And how was your first experience at the gym?
In the very beginning, I went with my brother-in-law, who was an Olympic lifter. And they told me, he said, maybe you should do Greco wrestling. So I did Greco wrestling a little bit. And I didn't like it, man. It's just like, that wasn't fun.
That's what I did since I was 6. I went to a few competitions and back home. I was a Greco wrestler. Yeah, I kind of built the base for me, but I liked weights. I couldn't wait for the practice to be over so I could go and lift. That's how I felt. That's how I kind of realized that wrestling wasn't for me. I just wanted to lift.
I'm the same way. I went to this hardcore gym. It was only Olympic lifting and Greco wrestling, and really a really hardcore athlete. So like, let me try lift some weight, and I tried to mess around with I tried to deadlift 225 pounds. I hurt my back, and believe it or not, that became my strongest part. Maybe it's good to start with painful experience. You know, and seriously, I hurt my back, and I was really screwed up. I couldn't. I lifted awkwardly, and then here goes my back. And I started coming into the gym, and then after that, start doing Olympic lifting, clean and jerk, right?
So you start with the base, just like most old school bodybuilders start with a.
I started with that, but deep down inside, this gym wasn't really extremely well equipped with everything you want, but it was more for wrestling, so I didn't have every needed equipment. So until one day, we have the president of our federation, he looked at me and said, son, you have a beautiful body. I think you should be a bodybuilder. And I said, great. So his gym has completely full equipment. It's like, it was like 2-3 miles away from my home. I would walk to this gym back in the days, and I really loved it. And you could see the passion. And, you know, before you know it, I was in school competition. I won. And then the president of our federation, his name Mali, he was the vice president of Ben Weider back in the days, the IFBB vice president. And he said, Samir, you're making so much progress. If you could make the team the following year to the Universe, 1974, and I was a teenager. And good enough, I was so focused, the improvement was happening. Everything happened. That's why I tell people, take your time, you can grow. I mean, you know, hey, it's really not necessary to go into immediate abuse nowadays. Some kids, they think they cannot do it.
Yes, absolutely right.
You know, I hope my kids won't bother with this kind of
I'm
stuff.
trying to get this message across to people that you don't really have to start with that. This comes as an icing on the cake if you decide to take it competitively. You can look great and achieve great physique without using juice.
100%.
Without putting yourself at the risk. And people start going, oh, you're using juice. I'm a competitive athlete. It's a whole different ball game. You know, if you want to look great for girls, you know, to go on the beach, you don't have to take juice for that. You know what I mean? Like, I turned pro naturally without using any juice because I really wanted to. I just wanted to prove myself that I can do it.
I agree.
You know, and it a lot depends on genetics, a lot. But it's not an excuse to go into the extremes.
No, I agree.
And the protocols you see online right now, and that's what's trending, is enormous amounts of juice. Enormous amounts. And kids, 19, 18 years old, are taking it. You know, so it's pretty
scary.
It is scary. And when you start talking about this, they start hating on you. It's like, oh, you're taking it. I trained for so many years without it.
Me too.
And learning the true art of bodybuilding is only possible when you started young and you started correctly, without just jumping into the gear, because you don't know what really heavy training is and what's pushing your boundaries is, and what's you know, the whole approach is different. And there is a lot of guys that actually ask me questions. How do you get your physique naturally?
Because it's natural, you know. You have your body makes testosterone, man. Your body, your hormone. If your hormonal production is intact, everything is good, you could grow muscle. For God's sake, you can. I won all these competitions. I came in 7th in the Mr. Universe, and I was a teenager. And I came to Michigan. I won Mr. Michigan, and I competed in Mr. International. It was all clean. Nobody believed me. I trained 7 years. I didn't see any anabolic, nothing. Then yes, when you go into the professional ranks, and you know the competition is stiffer, but I don't want to say it's an excuse, but I really want to get better, and I want to really be with the big boys.
It's a big part of bodybuilding.
So I really did. I went, and I have to even mention the doctor name that back in the day I consulted with in Michigan. Maybe he's no longer with us, Dr. Weston. I went to him, and I said, look, doc, I want to do, but you know, it's giving me small, I'm not ashamed to say it. He gave me like 75 milligrams of Durabolin a week. Come on, this is not going to even help the rabbit grow. But psychological, and no, it does actually work. It's not like a placebo, but it kind of like gave me that additional, you know, boost of focusing and getting better. And on the other hand, if I have a stomach ache, I blame it on if I cough, that's what Durable. And I did a small amount. I mean, really, we're not here to talk about that topic precisely, but really, you are right. It's like the anabolic steroids aren't the reason for the champion. The champion make themselves, they train hard, they focus on nutrition. God gave us everything in nature. The food that you eat, if you know how to eat properly, you know, fat make some cholesterol make testosterone. And so now I target my own children. They play basketball. I make sure they eat, like each one eat like 2 to 3 free range egg, or not poached or over easy, because I know the fat that they are eating right now is going to trigger their hormonal production to get better. And they're both, my son's like, oh, dad, like he's like muscular, ripped to the bone, both of them. And I kept them eat. They eat all day long. Genetics. So really, your body makes hormone. Your body you can boost your thyroid, you can boost your pituitary. I actually give them stuff to boost their pituitary naturally. I give them an amino acid combo at night on empty stomach. I'm not selling anything, trust me, guys. But the truth is, I give them like arginine, L-ornithine, and glycine, and lysine, and maybe a little bit of L-glutamine with it, and that trigger hormonal production naturally. And the boys are growing. I'm like, I look at Jesse, hey, what's up, buddy? He's like already taller than me, 3 inches taller than me, just turned 15. So you are correct. So you really don't need to overdo, or you don't even need to do it early on. You could train, but I mean, you could. I won Mr. Michigan naturally, Mr. Lebanon naturally, seventh in the universe naturally, and they announced me as a teenage Mr. Universe. I'm not bragging, but we're trying to tell people, yeah, you can win at a local level and national level, but you know, when you want to go to the Olympia, maybe you might need to enhance a little bit. You might. I'm not saying you should, and I have. It's in a very responsible way under doctor supervision, and thank God, all good. And so that's not.
You mentioned nutrition. What's your take on nutrition? Do you go into the off season, or you stay year round on as lean as you possibly can, making the lean
I'm
gains?
lucky, you know. I'm lucky. I guess I had the fast metabolism. I always ate. I ate good, and I never really overdid the junk. Once you're in it and you start thinking, yeah, protein, potato, and this and that, you know, fruit. So you really didn't cross the boundary heavily into the junk. So I was not a big junk eater, but I don't mind eating pizza or once or twice a week. And I do eat, but I'm not a Twinkie type of guy in junk. I'm not interested. It's
So
like
was your diet more of a ketogenic diet with lower carbs and higher fats? And
yeah,
protein?
early on I always like thought, oh, you know, stay away from carb, not too much carbs, you know, and probably that actually, you know, higher fat intake, actually the proper fat, it trigger more hormonal in terms of testosterone production, and I don't know if that has a lot to do, but looking back, I think the higher fat and moderate carbohydrate for hardcore athlete, it could be okay, but it's not the greatest thing anyhow. I mean, now I'm a pro high carbs diet really, but the right carbs in you know, like 10% fat, 10 to 15. In off season maybe 20% fat intake.
So whenever you were dialing into the competition, your later days.
Yeah, I was just saying, back in the days we were like high carbs. We were conscious about taking in high glycemic carbs or even complex carb. So
Samir, what about the training? Um, high intensity with moderate weight or heavy?
high intensity is a must. High intensity doesn't mean excessive weight. However, I've always gone heavy myself. I've always pushed myself to the limit, and I still do. But of course, right now, I know weight-wise, I don't push myself to the limit. But intensity-wise, I do. You can do intense training at any age. It doesn't matter. But you don't have to go. I don't have to deadlift 700 pounds or, you know, which is poundages that I used in the past, insane, you know. So do you really have to do, okay, to build your body in the beginning, it's good to go heavier and heavier and heavier and start building up and to dig deep into the deeper muscle fiber to
What
create.
is the rep range then should be?
The,
What does the rep range should be then?
the reference?
Rep range.
Oh, I never really counted reps or set personally. I just went by how I felt, but I've always pushed myself in each set and and gone to the max. Whether it's I've done at 8 reps or 12 reps,
Or 6
somewhere
reps.
around that. You know, between 8 and maybe 14, 13, somewhere like that. You know, and then also sets 3 to 5 for area. Let's say if I do like shoulders, I do front lateral, side lateral, rear delts, upright row. So I hit the tree head of the deltoid, front, side, rear, and trapezius. I discovered early on not to do shoulder presses because it's more damaging to your elbow and your rotator cuff. So I wasn't heavy on that.
On the shoulders.
Yeah, and I know for a fact, I know some, I don't want to name them, I know some greats who have major injury to the rotator, and they even now having surgical procedure because they did a lot of like dumbbells and barbell presses with heavy weight.
Well, shoulder
So,
is a pretty small muscle. You don't really need that much.
no, I mean, when you do bench press, you activate the front deltoid, right? When you do anything, you activate basically the front deltoid. So
Same thing with
why
the
do you
rear.
need to do this? When you do bench press, you're really moving it. And when you're doing shoulder presses, you're really only moving part of the shoulders, mostly triceps.
Yeah, because most of the people think it involves the whole. The
We
whole
are in a
shoulder.
world of monkey see, monkey do. Nobody wants to break out of the norm and say, you know what, maybe I should do something different. Okay, well, I did see, like, say, monkey see, monkey do. I saw Frank Zane doing close grip, chin up, and hanging up and doing it. You know what? Yeah, you could say that's what who opened my eyes to get this exercise done. But you know what? This exercise is damn useful. I don't see people doing it. Close grip, chin up, and hold tight. Each each rep, you pause and contract the muscle and go all the way down. I hate this bullshit. That's not my way of training. I want you to go up, hold it, and down. And up, hold it, and down, slow. Feel it. This bullshit doesn't work for me, man. You know, it's not.
I totally agree with you.
I'm serious. You know,
You
like the
developed a very strong mind-muscle connection. That's what I guess.
you got to.
That's the key in bodybuilding. That's the
It
key.
is.
Yeah, a lot of people just move weight from point A to point Z, and that's it, and they're done. And that's the whole idea is just to move the weight and knock out the reps. They're not really interconnected to what's happening to them at that moment. They don't feel how the way the muscle contracts. I think where this is when you develop that, you become more of an artist. You start understanding your body, and you get in tune with it. And
You know, to me, Artemus, it doesn't make sense when you go like this. Just like pump. But I want it to be hard. That remind me of an eagle that grabbed the fucking fish, excuse my language. He'll grab the fish and take it out. You don't that take it and drop it in the water, just to grab it. When you do an exercise, you grab the muscle and then you slowly, positive and negative resistant and feel it. You gotta feel it. You gotta feel it to believe it. It's like having sex and not getting an orgasm. Excuse my language. Not my
okay.
style.
It's real. Now, how was your when you walked into the Gold's Gym back in the 70s? Or when did you move to LA?
I came to LA in late 78.
78. How was the Gold's Gym, and how was the
It was
environment?
crazy. Oh.
How was the culture of bodybuilding now? Because see, like it is weird now. The whole bodybuilding society and the culture, there is none. Everybody cares about themselves, and it's all very individualistic. There is no brotherhood. There is no much of a support. There is no much of love to each other. Everybody is looking at each other as like, this guy has this guy has that, and just it's more of a negative environment. You know, even right now in Gold's and Gym in Venice, I don't want to say anything, but it's like a high school. You know, and I don't want to take it out there, but it is. You know, and this camaraderie, it is kind of, it's gone, because when you look at the photos from 70s and 80s, you see Arnold and a group of guys hanging on the beach and posing together. I mean, you were all very competitive to each other, but I feel like there was a bond.
It was, you're right. Listen, I remember I came from Michigan. Tom Platz moved over here a couple months before me. Mm-hmm. Then I followed, and in fact, I stayed at Tom Platz the first days, and he teased me a little bit. Hello, this is Tom Platz, Mr. Universe. I'll tell you about that. It's another issue. And then I stayed with Padilla for 1 month. Danny Padilla was like wonderful, man. I love Danny. He's just a great guy. He goes, come on, buddy, come on. And I had met Padilla in St. Louis, Missouri. I guest posed with him. Mm-hmm. He goes, you son of a, you're not even world champion. I guest posed out of shape. You were in top shape. I was in good shape. And Danny was really encouraging. He was really cool to me. And we developed a friendship before I even came to LA from St. Louis, Missouri. So, I came into California. When I walked to Gold Gym, the Gold Gym that I started at was Robert Blake building back close to Santa Monica, 3rd Street Promenade. Mm-hmm. I walk into the gym, oh my God, I was like, fuck, like a kid in a candy store. I'm looking inside the gym. Oh my God, dude, you won't believe it. It's like Mr. Olympia going on every single fucking day. You got everyone from Ken Waller, Bill Grant, Tom Platz, Larry Jackson, Andreas Collin, Ed Corney, Danny Padilla, Tom Platz, Samir Bannout, and
Robbie
then joined
Robinson.
Robbie was there. And you know what? Mike and Ray Menser. I tell you what, the atmosphere, Pete Gromkowski. I mean, the gym, believe me, those are the people I named, they were there daily. Daily. I love that atmosphere. And then I went there and I like fucking busted my gut. I want to train harder than them. I want to fucking show the world that I can. I'm there to actually invade the fucking bodybuilding world, but nicely, kindly. You know, we go to the beach sometime. We have like Mr. Olympia on the beach. We go to the beach. Myself, Platt, Roger Khaled, Chris Dickerson, Pete Gromkowski, all together. I mean, people walking on the beach like they flip. Oh my God, look at all these monsters, you
I
know.
can imagine. Yeah.
But it was cool. It was friendly. It was just nice. The minute they start having the prices and stuff like that, higher prices, but that should not be, you know, causing any negativity. You know, we were just buddies, and it was just beautiful. I loved it back then.
Samir, what was the mentality of a bodybuilder back then? In terms of were people really concerned about size and getting just big and getting huge? Because you know there is a point where bodybuilding shifted, and without turning back, you know, for many years with Dorian coming in, you know, because he was the one that actually took it to a whole nother level. I think Lehaney was somewhere in between, you know. But what was the mentality of a bodybuilder back then?
When I started at Gold, in fact, here's what happened. I went to World Gym too, because part of some other champion like Arnold, Franco Colombo, Frank Zane, Draper, more people went to World Gym. But luckily, when I came in to see Gold, World Gym, Joe Gold, rest in peace, he said, son, I saw you at the International, and guess what? You should have won. And I actually was robbed in that show. And Joe Gold, he didn't think that I was cheated. Honestly, yes. But he goes, listen, you have a membership for life at my gym. You're welcome. He gave me training suit, World Gym, in closing. He was very generous. And so it was just good for me. I would go to Gold and World. But both gyms were like loaded with champion. Even Tom Plaza would go AM, PM, and me too. We started going to both just to keep politically in a good position. I was nice to both gym. Sometimes I wear Gold Gym shirt into World Gym. What? Oh, what the hell? No bad intention, but it was just a good camaraderie. The guys were like focused. You know, Ed, Tom, you know, I was saying Danny Padilla was training partner was Ed Corney. Robbie was training with a guy named Jay Silva. I would train with whatever, sometime Menser, Casey Vitor, or with Andreas Collin. It was just cool. Like if we match and one day, what are you doing, buddy? Oh, calf, let's hit calf together or shoulder. So it was just nice, friendly, motivating environment. And after that, we ate and went to the beach. Beautiful job. Uncle Joe Weeder was sending us, give us a check. Rest in peace, Joe. Joe was really nice. I would go, like I said to you earlier, Samir, that's an article, and I just thought of it. Joe was so nice. He said, like, do an article. I would do like 2 articles. Yeah.
Danny Padilla is pretty good at it too.
Samir. Yeah, I love Joe. I tell you what,
He loved
I came in and Joe, he's the biggest musclehead. I love him. You know, too bad there's not too many people like him. Hopefully you become one big gun.
This is what Danny calls me, Joe Weeder. Hello, Joe Weeder.
I'm serious. You know what? Believe me, Joe Weeder was it. He made money from the sport, but he really loved the game.
Yeah,
he cared about his magazine.
Yes.
So you do too now. Now you're doing business, which you love what you do, but I know you have passion for the game. I see you helping champion an athlete, which is very nice. Seriously. And I do the same. A lot of kids come to me sometimes. I help them with posing. Some don't have money to afford me. I help them.
Samir, your posing is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Phenomenal. It's probably one of the most natural, most artistic posing up there. Because I mean, you look at every single representative of Golden Era, and they had their thing.
Yeah.
They
It
had,
was
you know,
special.
if you look at Tom, if you look at Frank Zane, and you look at Arnold, or you look at, you know, Black Prince, you look at
Yeah.
Robbie, you know, they
Yeah.
had their own way of presenting their physique.
Yeah, true.
They had that, you know, their flow and
Yeah.
the way they were posing, and you know, you're very distinctly from that.
Thank
You're
you.
Very artistic.
Thank
made
you.
every move look artistic.
The problem with me, and I have to admit this on front of your camera, that I never really practiced posing, and that's the biggest mistake. But I was natural. I did it at home in front of me, but I never really practiced my routine before the contest. But in front of the camera, I come alive, and I knew my angle, and I knew how to hit the poses and be in the right position. But it wasn't enough because you have to be perfect on stage when you do your routine. Frank Zane was doing that, and he personally told me, Frank, he was like when he lived in Palm Springs, he will do practices posing in the sun. He'll do a vacuum pose and hold it for as long as he can, or do double biceps and hold it for like a minute or minute and a half. And he does it under while he's sweating in the sun. So when contest time comes, he's like laughing at it. He's doing it like nothing, and everybody is like suffering. And Frank does it like so elegant and so perfect. You know, it's part of the game. Now they don't focus on posing.
So much work.
It is.
So much more work. It's not just about getting big and eating and getting big and injecting. It really was, you know, there's so much work that goes into posing.
It is.
As much as into training. You know, who wants to stay after training and after doing, you know, your ab workout for an hour like Frank did and still posing?
But you know, the posing bring out more detail. This is the thing. Ask Arnold, he'll tell you. And, you know, Frank, he focused on posing. And nowadays, they don't even give a crap about posing, which is, how can you show your body? How can you fly an airplane? You don't know. You know, you can't hit your You got to be able to fly that airplane you have. And these guys cannot fly it. They are looking horrible, and when they pose, they just do like the weirdest double bi lat spread. But there's much more to it.
Yeah, the front lat spreads, they are fucking ugly.
You have that in you. I'm not just saying this because of the camera. I'm serious. Artemus, I saw some of your pictures, and I must say, you display similar style where you really look for the beauty of the shot, and you angle it properly. And this is what I like. This is how Arnold. Do you see Arnold looking bad in any pictures? He doesn't.
No. Just like you said before, he knew his angles. You will never see him in a side tricep
He doesn't.
shot.
He
No,
doesn't.
You will never see him.
He told me. I mean, listen. It was so funny. One time I was guest posing I was in Seattle, Washington, and Arnold happened to be the MC. So he called me, Samir, come over here. And I talked to the audience. And I said, great. He said, you look fantastic. And I talked to the audience. And I said, Arnold, I have something to show you. And you need to guess that. Let me show you. So I asked the crowd, you want another posing routine? They said, yeah, they want me to pose again. And so what I did, I hit Arnold posing routine from the pump and iron. I went through the exact position of Arnold, the exact routine. He said, son of a gun, you're the only one that could do it this good. But, you know, it's part of the sport. Showing it, it's part of the sport.
Magnificent when it's done and it's performed correctly. I think Bob Paris was one of the...
Bob is an artist too. He's elegant. You know, I think Bob really never fulfilled his full potential.
No, they didn't let him.
He did not. He didn't, because I remember I trained with Bob and Matt Bettetti. There's like they trained a partner. They were best friends. Bob Paris and Matthew Bettetti, who was an opera singer. They trained so hard. They were elegant. They have exactly the same mentality like you and I. They look into the art. They train hard. They were dedicated. And they always looked how to do it at the very best possible. And so I think when Bob and Matt stopped training together, I think Bob lost a little bit of concentration and focus, and so he got bigger, but he really never really got so sliced, because I think Bob is Mr. Olympia type of body. It's very unfortunate he didn't go.
I mean, he wasn't superly conditioned, but his body was.
That's what I'm saying.
It looked very appealing.
Beautiful body.
There was no veins popping at all, but he was still pretty ripped. You know, his waistline and just the whole body was just
I agree.
It's flawless.
But
Absolutely
Bob was
flawless.
very elegant in his style.
Yes.
He's just a beautiful physique, and he showed it right. It's just he needed that little edge.
You know what I feel like? I mean, I don't want to like insult bodybuilders, but I feel like they're also getting dumber. That because
What a
seriously.
bummer. They're getting dumber.
I mean, they are getting dumber because all they do is eat and jack, train and sleep. There's not much to like when you're posing. That involves intelligence, that involves imagination, that involves creativity.
Yeah.
So your mind is constantly working and perfecting just the way you pose. You're an artist. You get invested into that. And now when you look at the bodybuilders posing, they just scream, put their tongue out,
And
squeeze
telling
their
people,
teeth.
"Clap for me, clap for me."
And asking for the applause.
For applause.
You don't ask for the applause. You don't.
You never seen that before. Never seen it until recently. Why? Why these guys are going like this? Like, come on, shit for me. Get the fuck, just pose like a man. Just fucking pose. Show them that you're awesome and let them clap for you when you look great.
They will go crazy.
You don't want to clap the fucking pregnant woman. Pregnant bodybuilders. I'm sorry, but I'm fucking fed up with the pregnant shit.
What do you think about this year's Olympia? We're following a little bit the...
I love this look. I think Phil, he's got an incredible body. He's been like, he won Mr. Olympia so many times. But I think Phil really is also started going too big too. Because he know Rami is coming big and he knows Sean Roden, I love Sean Roden's body. And so there's a couple of guys that are coming in. But I think Phil Heath has the advantage of his shape because, you know, he has actually his own company called The Gift. He does have a gift, but now The Gift is getting way too big, in my opinion. I liked him was 20 pounds lighter, more chiseled.
He has absolutely phenomenal genes.
No, he has a great body.
Yeah, when he was just turning pro, it was amazing. His body is really, really one of the probably most aesthetic ones for today's bodybuilding.
I agree.
And the other thing, he's a little bit of a prick, but see, he still has the leadership quality. He stands out from the rest of the guys. He's still sort of a leader. He stands out.
You have a complete package. That's why his body rhymes
out.
together.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, talk big Ramy, yes, impressive, ugly body though. I mean, I don't take anything away from the athlete itself. You know, this is what they will do. I respect that. But if we're talking in terms of symmetry and in terms of bodybuilding, without any hate, just a clear, assessment of the physique, and that there is not much, personality that goes into it too. And physique without personality.
And those faces.
Yeah, it's
the hell is that?
Empty. I think back in the day, even watching your old interviews, people had a charisma. They had a character. A character. You talk to Tom, you would not talk the same way to Big Ramy. He simply wouldn't put two words together. And I have no disrespect, but it is what it is. He might be a very nice guy, but to be a leader and to be on top of the sport, you have to be charismatic, and you have to be a leader, and you have to be able to inspire and to motivate people as a bodybuilder.
Some people don't have the personality. But aside of that, I mean, when you're on stage,
you have to work on
you can conduct yourself to be an artist, and you do your performing art was elegant, and they're not doing that. You really don't ask the artist for applause, and that's really cheap.
Cedric McMillan is very good.
And I like McMillan. McMillan is really, really good.
He has that artistic mind,
Yeah.
I don't know him personally. I've seen him for the first time at Arnold Classic in 2013, and he already caught my eye. So I've been a big fan from back then. He actually has that mask. He doesn't come overly shredded, as they want him to be, but he's very round and his symmetry is great.
How about Kevin Levrone coming back?
That's what, I stayed away from all this like drama that's going on YouTube, and everybody's talking about Kevin Levrone, and this is something that's trending. It's great for the show as itself. It's just a promo.
It is.
It's just a trick, because if we're talking about today's bodybuilding, today's competitive bodybuilding, he has absolutely no place in that lineup. I respect what he did. I respect all the work he put in and the courage and all that.
You think he's gonna have a tough time?
I think so.
I
would love to be surprised. I would love to be surprised.
I would love to see him. Honestly, I'd love to see him even win. I'd be happy if he does, but then
That
best
would be
man
a
who,
history made, you know. That would be awesome to see.
that would be
For
nice.
this sport, it's gonna be like wow.
But I mean,
You
come
know,
on, he's 52
I
or
think so.
53, I think, somewhere around that. His body's not going to really function at that kind of level. But will he be shredded like he was? If he is shredded like he used to be, he'll probably be the most shredded in the and not strong competition. Because nowadays these guys are full and they look hard from far away. They look kind of cut, but they're not really shriveled.
There's
They're
no
not as
hardness and
gnarly.
striations in the
No,
muscle.
they're
Absolutely
not.
agree with you. It's because of the way that you know the drugs. That's what they do. I mean,
Yeah.
they just taking so much drugs that muscle can't really dry out and to get that condition. Plus the way they train. Nobody really trains balls to the wall anymore. It really doesn't. I mean, you
I don't
rarely
see it. I don't see the
No, I see
blood and
bodybuilders-
guts and tears in
You
the
know,
gym.
exactly.
I
I
don't.
don't see bodybuilders at the gyms or the stuff that I see online, the workouts. There is no much intensity involved, no much pain. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, there are some guys that train heavy and hard, yes, but to see something that you saw when you watch Arnold train, where it goes
Yeah.
to the agony, you know what I mean?
Oh wow, I love that. You see the footage from Pump and Iron, and Arnold really was training, and you could see there's like kind of feeling in the way he trained. He wasn't acting. Arnold trained like that. Arnold was a warrior in the gym. Look at even the way Tom trained. He was a warrior. I mean,
Oh my God, Thomas is just on another level.
Tom was really
An animal.
driven to
Yeah.
really achieve what he did with his body. Also, amazing. That's why he got to be called the Golden Eagle, right? So,
Godfather.
yeah, Tom is wonderful. But you're right. I don't kind of see things like. I mean, we don't have to be back to the old school day, but it's just a lot of things missing from today's champion. The elegance, the beauty, it's like mass, mass, mass. The biggest freak win, posing poorly, asking the crowd to cheer for them. It's not my type of bodybuilding, honestly. I don't appreciate. I watch the 212. I'd rather see Flex Lewis. I'd rather see guys, the 212 guys with like more our type of body. And you know,
They're short guys.
well, you know, listen, I'm like I was working with Stan McQuaid, his posing. I was checking him out. He's really looking very good, and I think guys like in the physique competition, like Danny Hester, I'd rather really look at this kind of body than look at those
Absolutely.
the 285, 90-pound guys. The fact that they are not wasted, I'm not gonna enjoy
Samir,
that.
how do you keep the waist small? That's the question that I always get asked. Because you know they say that even Frank Zane told me that the heavy squats they widen your hips, you know, widen your waist. Like had a lot of ab movement with the weight, also will thicken your obliques. How did it work for you? Were you wearing a belt? How did you keep your waist so small? Did you work your abs in a
Well,
certain
I think the higher the carb diet, the more candida. How can I say it? You know, there's yeast overgrowth. I think is all activated more by sugar intake. You know, some people have a big case of candida. You know what's candida albicans, which is yeast overgrowth, and it's an imbalance in your intestinal flora. And the more high glycemic carbs you eat, the worse it gets. Steroid makes it worse. The antibiotic make it really, really bad. And so the higher carb diet will make them a lot worse. The lower carb diet, it actually contribute to help in the case. So we were more like lower carb back in the days. So that actually created a smaller midsection. Frank Zane's always low carb person. Vince Gironda, even Arnold, when he dieted, he didn't really go high carbs. So I think the high carb diet has good and bad, but you have to understand health and nutrition and how to manage the intestinal flora, because there is a way to kill those bad bacteria that you know that actually live in that non-oxygenated environment in your intestine, and like billions and billions and billions of bad bacteria the more carbs you eat, the worse it really get. So, that's why I take flora in the morning, like, the
That's it, probably probiotics.
probiotic is really good way to start. But just give you like a quick regimen. I know how to solve this issue, but a lot of kids don't look into it, and and really, even if they were taking antibiotic as kids, and that's where the problems start with the yeast overgrowth.
So that kind of contributes to the extension of your
Well,
midsection.
but once you start killing the good and bad bacteria, because antibiotic does that, and so then the bad bacteria take over the midsection, and so you have much more. The number of the bad bacteria is way too large, and so that's what happened, and this intestine explode and get worse and worse. But also, there's also fat, internal fat stored behind the stomach, in certain area that actually add up to the misery. I'm like I said, I just saw Stan McQuay recently, and I tell you what, his waist is barely 28 inches. He looked really wasted.
He was able to dial in.
Yeah. And also you have to be smart. Taking the proper supplementation to keep that intact. And there is a way to treat this issue.
Samir, what it would be, I know we're short on time now, what would be your advice to young bodybuilders, to the kids that are just coming into world of bodybuilding, and there's a new class now, classic physique, and it's trending right now. It's something that people want to look like, and they want to resemble more of a golden era. I mean, classic physique is great. I feel like their weight requirements are a little bit too stupid. I don't think you should go by weight, because I look much better at being 5'9" and 200 pounds. I look proportionate. I don't want to lose my muscle
I
and
agree.
to look out of proportion. That's the
I
whole
agree.
idea.
I'm with you on that, 100%.
So I feel like they should change that, because I don't think I can fit into being that weight. I can't.
Well, I saw some of the photograph you showed me when that last time you competed. And my personal opinion, not because you're sitting here, you were heavily robbed. And again, this weight to height things right now with physique competition, I think they need to get back to the drawing board and find a better solution, because some guys are forced to lose lean mass to make that weight, and they mess up their body in the process. And we talked about that earlier. I personally wouldn't do that. I would actually, one of our friends, Stan, he came in second in San Diego.
I know.
He was forced to drop to under 180 something in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And now this time he came in a few pounds heavier, but he looked better, and he came in second place. He could have won the show. So really, it's really hurting the athlete by putting boundary on height and weight. And I don't know, it's really confusing. I don't like to get into it, but whoever made the changes to those rule and regulation and the MPC, they should really come back and consult with a professional champion and really find a happy medium, because it's really creating very unhealthy issue to some athletes, where some people have to lose 10 pounds of lean mass to get into a certain division, which is sad.
Absolutely.
Not good. Catabolic just to make a weight class. It's stupid.
What was your weight whenever you won Mr. Olympia?
The year I won in Germany, I was 196 on stage. The year before, where I was also front runner, I was 186. So I gained from 186 to 196.
Pounds.
Yes, I gained 1 pound, 10 pounds in 1 year. And that was, wow, a huge achievement. In fact, I could have been better in 83. I maybe missed my peak by a hair. I could have been drier. That's my opinion. I'm a little finicky. I'm not fair to myself sometimes. I just say it like it is. My condition in 83 was really sliced to the bone. And I'm sorry, in 82. So, live and learn. But, you asked me earlier, what would my message be for the kids out there? One thing, don't overtrain. Eat smart. Eating is everything, my friend. Eating is everything. How you control all your hormonal function in your body is done by eating properly and not overtraining. You train hard, you kill yourself in the gym, but try to kill yourself in 45-minute maximum. You don't need more than that. And, if you allow the muscle 72 hours to recuperate, I think that's plenty. So you could actually train, the body part every 4 days. You could. Some people do well with one. I can do good with both. But as you get older, recovery become even slower. So it's better to do the one and then control the eating and habit. So for the kids, don't overdo it. Don't listen to a stranger telling you, oh, take this so you can get super big. There's no, Artemus told you that he did it for many years without taking anything, and I really did myself. So yeah, you can build muscle without steroid. You could, and if you do that, do it. Don't do it from just some bonehead in the gym, in the locker room, tell you take this and that. Deal with it with a smart endocrinologist or a professional doctor or someone who's been there, done that, who's really smart.
Who achieved something with the sport. Yes.
Yeah, and really stay away, honestly, stay away from the fucking drugs. You stay away from it. This is the bottom line. You want to smoke, do that, but I don't smoke, but I'm just saying.
Hey guys, you know what, Samir, I really appreciate your time and coming in.
Hey,
I
buddy.
appreciate working with us and on your clothing line. The Lion of Lebanon is going to be in the stores probably in the end of this week or Monday. We'll see. I will make an announcement, but it's the dopest clothing line up there, and it's going to be a really, really cool release. It's one of the most spectacular athletes, and I'm very much looking forward to making more videos, training videos with Samir and learning more from him. Because as I said, it's one of the most phenomenal physiques. If you guys don't know who Samir Bannout is, you don't know anything about bodybuilding.
That's very nice of you. I'm honored. It's good to join the team. I love the style of making clothing. Really do. Not just the bodybuilding part of you, but I just made a new friend really, and this guy is unreal. Hopefully he'll be another Joe Wheeler one day.
Actually, you know what? I started thinking about this more and more because, I mean, I don't really care what people think about me, what they say about me. I could care less. And I can express myself freely because I don't really depend on anyone. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't have to pay my dues to anyone, and I truly don't support the politics of IFBB right now because nobody really gives a fuck about the athletes. And I know it from firsthand, and I know it from the guys that I work with that they're spending their last money to go into the show. You know what I mean? And promoting this company and putting their health at risk, and they're not getting anything. And what's really funny too? That with the resources that these people have, they don't create any media for these athletes. They could create a series, a Road to Olympia for Phil Heath and for this guy, and to make episodes so people can watch and get involved into bodybuilding. All these guys, they're doing stuff on their own, and they have only this much resources to spend on creating media content.
Right.
I feel like IFBB should be a lot more invested into this sport.
Yeah.
You never see Jim Mannion in Gold's Gym posing with the athletes. You know what I mean? I don't really care what's going to happen to me in a competitive sport, but it is what it is, and it is the truth. You know what I'm saying? It is the truth, and bodybuilders are hurting, and they're not appreciated at all. And once you get out of shape, you are completely out of the picture. You're done. If you're out of shape, you're irrelevant. And that's what really hurts me because I love this sport. I really genuinely love this sport.
Yeah.
And because of this sport, I was able to discover, my other talents and my other passion, like clothing, and making these videos. Like, I genuinely love it. And because of bodybuilding, I had to discover it. I got the chance to discover it. So I'm very thankful to the sport, and I want to give it back as much as I can. But I will make also a great living out of this as well.
That's awesome. You can beat that. One hand wash the other.
Absolutely.
And really up till today, I try my hardest to really give some messages to the new kids out there, and I'm sincere about it. And I really don't give a F who wins. So as long as you really come and be a good ambassador, be a good champion, and be a healthy looking champion. I don't want you to look like a fucking funky chicken and be called Mr. Olympia. you know, and I really hope and I wish Kevin Levrone best of luck in this trial to come back, and I wish everyone.
I think it's going to be better for the sport. I mean,
I
no
hope.
bullshit aside, it's going to be better for the sport. It's going to bring the excitement. It's going to bring more
Yeah,
involvement, more attention to it. I totally agree. But
yeah.
I want the best athlete to win that night, disregard all the
I hope.
politics and all that. So,
I hope so.
and I hope Kevin Levrone is going to be at his best. You know.
I hope so. I bet you he'll be ripped. He'll be
Yeah,
ripped.
but for some reason, I just don't believe that something like this.
Let's wait and see. Let's wish him best of luck. That's all we do.
Absolutely.
We'll be there to enjoy it and have fun. And like I said,
By the way, we're gonna be, and Samir is gonna be with us at the Olympiad, booth number 758, Golden Aesthetics.
come see us, guys. Here we go.
You still got it. You still got it. Thank you guys again for tuning in, watching this podcast, supporting Samir Bannout, supporting the Lion of Lebanon. The signature clothing line is gonna come out very, very soon. Do you have a website or what's your Facebook or like? I mean,
Yeah,
Samir Bannout is his
I will
Instagram.
announce some things on my Facebook too.
Okay, but
I love
do you
follow.
have a website that people wanna?
Uh, Actually, just go to SamirBannout.com. I mean, well, I have my BA in nutrition right now. I stopped temporarily because we're building, and we're making some changes in the next probably 3-4 weeks. I will re-announce that later.
That's fine. I want people to know your contact information. I want to know where you are, how to find
Yeah.
you, and how to get in
Facebook
touch.
right now. Go to Facebook and with my buddy Artemus right here. I'm on the same team here.
Thank you so much again, Samir. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, man.
It's great to see you.
That's a huge honor for me. Are
Really.
you kidding me?